guys, this one is called Family Tribes. There is more to this, but this is the part that's allowed to go out for the world on YouTube. This one was given on 4/15/24, 12:23 p.m. 12:23 in the Hebrew is the enclosed sheepfold, and 12:23 in the Greek is done though with reason or because of, on the account of. Understand that these words sound like they're coming from me, but they are not coming from me. So family tribes. The splendor of your majesty is beyond what human eyes can perceive. We will see you in your full essence when we stand before your throne. All who are found worthy to witness the glories of heaven, all who are sanctified, rest in the joy of heaven. The benefit from living a life on a different path is heaven. The villages, all unique. Family tribes together. Generations of tribes with their clan leaders and holy leaders. No social conflict, just peace and joy and fellowshipping with others of your kind. Each district of heaven has unique living quarters that are specific to each person. I have chosen and designed each person with specific traits and preferences. Each person has developed those or learned from peers new traits and preferences. We keep track of each small love. These elements are all combined into your residence. When you come, each detail will make you feel perfectly settled. The home you have always wanted, but on a deeper level. Each element in the homes here are chosen by Jesus. He knows your every preference. He hears your every irritation and delight. He so loves each of you. It is his delight to design the perfect home for each person. He sets the guild to work on each home with the selections he knows you will prefer. The guild are artisans. They are masters at each craft and skill. They make every element for your home with perfection and precision. Every element handcrafted, every knob, every screw, every fastener. Every element is authentic, made from natural resources from heaven. You will love your district and your home. Some feel there is nothing to do in heaven but sit around and sing like angels. But this is simply man's notion. People are all busy with so many tasks here. There are writers for the libraries. There are mission workers. There are priests and teachers. There are those that lead, clarify the law, crafters, designers, guild workers, caretakers of the animals and the plants, and much more. Each person is well suited in excellence at their task. Because time is different here, the work done is more like a hobby. It is done with passion and a great desire to be exact and perfect. Also, all work is done with the mindset of serving the multitudes in heaven. Each one doing what you may view as work now is done for love of others and a deep worship of me simultaneously. When you perform your gifted tasks, you are worshiping. But because time is different here, it is not an all-day job to work like it is on earth. Tasks are well balanced. There is much time for relaxing and socializing, and time spent exploring all of the various things to do in heaven. There are books to read and animals to communicate with, gardens to explore, food to be cooked, music to be listened to, music to sing and make. There is a wide variety of places you can be with your kin. There are celebrations and sports and picnics and so many things to look forward to. All perfect, all pleasant, all stress-free. Many people here love to get to know others from the past. There are restaurants and general stores and guild stores. Many places to explore for every type of person, mountains to climb, bodies of waters to swim in, and homes to enjoy. Here, each person shares their best with others. If you are in the mood to be alone, there are nice private places to be settled in. If you wish to interact with the Holy Spirit, each is equipped with a calm place to do so. If you wish to see Jesus, just ask. He can be all places at all times, and he will bless you with his presence. There is so much to look forward to. When you feel overwhelmed, or like this world is spinning out of control, stop and think of heaven. Recall what there is to look forward to. Read the Psalms about heaven. Read the Revelation accounts of heaven. It will help settle you and bring you back to peace. Share your hope for heaven. Be my joy to others. Your hope, being stable in bumpy times, will be settled help. The help they seek. Have hope. The amazing realities of heaven are but a short time away. Okay, so I have a couple of dreams I'm supposed to share with you. This one is about my my family tribe. So obviously I'm connected to the tribe of Benjamin, as are most of you. But my family tribe, there's also another, there's a structure, and each family name has a tribe that has leadership structure and everything. So this was given on 8/25/23, 9 a.m. It begins that I'm with my number 4 daughter, and we are leaving a home or a hotel to go to my dad's house, the childhood home I grew up in. But when I get there, it's an estate in heaven and different. So let's get into it. I walked in and all was as I remember, but there was a maid there. Even though everyone at school always thought we had a maid, we did not retain a maid. This woman was Hispanic and very joyful, and I asked her if it was okay to look around, and she said, "Of course, you are the family." I decided to go out front, and there was a huge front porch at our house. In real life, a sprawling lawn with a palm tree that seemed so high. When I was a kid, I thought that it surely went all the way up to Jesus. It towered over our 2-story house by quite a lot. So I went toward the window to look out to the porch, and the house I grew up in was made in 1928, so it had antique crank windows. But when I went to these windows to look out to the porch, these were replaced with something like lightweight Bahama shutters, but instead of being traditional shutters, they were like porch swinging doors. I went through the swinging door, and so did someone else, a woman, not the maid, and I didn't see her face. I was surprised that the typically well-lit, expansive porch was so shady and was also surrounded by many of these vented doors, just like the windows. Now, as a note, when I had a dream where Moses was telling me about his life and I was at his house, he had the same exact vintage shutters kind of door things. So I think it's a thing in heaven. Then instead of grass in our front yard that led out to the street, instead there was lush greenery and a very well thought out landscape, and past that was an open grass and then up a little hill. And I was like, this is wild. It's beautiful, but it's not looking at the street like it did on earth. So it was so the same, but it was so different. And I said out loud in the dream, I wonder how long these horses have been here. They were at the top of the hill. At that moment, I knew that my dad had died, and I was there to see family, but it was still his estate. He was gone, but he was there. It was hard to explain, which later was explained to me. I went straight out to the horses, but before I could get to the barns, there came one horse straight up to me, very friendly, and I brushed down her nose, and I said, "Well, what is your name? You are very beautiful." Then, out of nowhere, 5 cops came running at me from all directions. They said, "This is the Watson estate. What are you doing here? Are you authorized to be here?" And I said, yes, I'm Frank's daughter. My ID is inside, if that would clarify. And I have to give you a little note that in many dreams I have an ID in heaven, and you have to have an ID apparently to be in our region where we live. So one cop went inside to confirm, but I stayed with the first cop that got there to check. After they came back, they took it as acceptable. After they saw my ID, they realized I was part of the family, and then they welcomed me, and they were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just that you've never been here before, and well, we had no idea. I'm so sorry." After they left, suddenly all of these people arrived, like a party, but low-key. People were just hanging out in groups and at tall tables talking. I was not in the mood to be social at all. So I went to the horse that came out to me, and I said, "You must be my dad's favorite horse because you knew me." And then the horse seemed to smile, and then settled down on her legs and pulled me down so that she could put her head in my lap, and I could feel how sad she was that she missed my dad. So I cried so hard it gave me a headache in the dream. And before I felt I was done mourning his loss, I had a person who I do not know come up to me and say how upset my brother Jeff was. I said, "Why?" The man said, "Well, he's sure you saw the sign in the shop. He's sure you've been by the shop already and seen it, and he's so upset he wanted it to be a surprise." And I was thinking, what shop? And then I got an image of an old country store and a table in front with a little floral calico tablecloth, and a sign was upon it, and it was very Newport Beach, very classy, very upscale and simple, and it had real silver for the borders and the letters, and it said, "Welcome home party on the coast for Julie, sunset tonight." I was a little confused at this thought, like, why are they welcoming me? I guess because I came to visit. But then my favorite cousin, Sherry, showed up at the party, and I ran to her and I said, "Sherry!" It's been at least 10 years since I've seen her in real life. And we hugged, and I cried because I had not seen my family in so long, and I felt so at home. And then I woke up. But as I was processing this dream, then I heard the Lord start to speak. "Hear the voice of the Lord. I call you home. Prepare. Set aside time with me. Prepare your home. Dance and sing. Rejoice. Come to me. Your family awaits. It's time to rest. One thing that is hard is few listen or hear what God is saying to do. When I shake the world, you will see people finally here. Awaken, my love," because I was drifting back to sleep. It is time. Since then, I have been told your father leads the Watson clan. The Watson clan is one of the family divisions with the Benjamin tribe. My uncle is on the Watson clan council. Council members are above the leaders due to more study in the Bible while on earth. One of my brothers is also a council member. Another brother is a clan historian and will make a museum with period-accurate items from Earth that coordinate with the family's story, but crafted by the guild in heaven to exact specifications. My cousin Sherry is in leadership in the clan. My dad's mother is Benjamin and Levite. Her father's side going back Levite for decades. She is in leadership as council in her father's family clan in the Levite tribe. My dad's father is Benjamin and Judah. I was also told that I have many faithful family members to meet from the generations. Regarding this dream, I was told that the horse was mourning that my dad was gone on a mission. She missed him so much. I have been shown a few missions I do with my father and brothers and told they are anointed, but not as high of rank as I am, for I am over the Benjaminite tribe, which is over the family. So here's some bonus information. Many of you have so much to look forward to, for heaven has so much to offer, and there are layers of leadership. I do not know the entire leadership structure, but I know a skeleton framework. Here's the basic information I am allowed to share at this time, although there is much more. And this structural information is true of each tribe. So there's the Benjamin tribe. We're going to take that as the example. There's the tribal leader. That's me. Then there's the Council of Benjamin. Then there's the 12 kings of Benjamin, which are over the 12 divisions of Benjamin. Then there's the council of each family clan. Then there's a leader for each family clan. And then there's specific leadership roles within the family. So I hope that's interesting to you, because that should give you hope that there is a very special place for you. No skills will be wasted. Okay, so the next dream was given on 6/19/24, and I saw my number 3 child in heaven, and she was glowing. And I looked at my husband Jim, and he was young and healed and healthy. And I looked at my number 4 child, and she was standing to my right. And we were trying to come up with a plan to rescue our number 1 and our number 2 child. Then we were going to rescue our family, and then after that, we would pick up the second batch of the anointed. The third dream. was given on 4/15/24. I was looking on the family clan land from above. I was collecting people onto a train. They were all my family, cousins, sister-in-laws, their parents, boyfriends, etc. I was taking all of these family members on the train to the theme park in heaven. I woke up shivering and cold on the brink of being sick, and I heard, "You are a warrior." I also heard, "Meat is giving cancer. Avoid it. It is toxic." Then this stream is called Tour Guides in Heaven. It was given on May 9th, 2023. Me, my husband Jim, and my number 3 child were tour guides in heaven. We were helping new families adapt and make the best use of their time, much like a Disney tour guide. This stream was riddled with Disney-themed things that became quick parallels. Under our care, this day, were 2 families. One family had 3 girls and one family had 2 boys. The mothers of the families were sisters. Interestingly, probably because there is no marriage in heaven, the families were never referred to as husband or wife, just parents, mother or father. Anyway, we were in charge of learning about them so that we could plan their day and customize their experience. We learned about them as we walked from place to place. We also were in charge of helping them learn the etiquette of the area so that they would not offend others. It was said, "This will offend," or they would ask, "Will this offend?" And this was happening throughout the entire dream. First, we took them directly to the castle. This is the same castle where I saw Nick's wedding, and in Nick's wedding, there were fireworks and a video replay of his event. This is the same place where in other dreams I have been shown that when books are published and different highlighted events happen in heaven, these events are broadcast above this castle. The castle was pure white and gold and much more majestic than any Disney castle. All authentic materials, and it was the place where large announcements were made above the castle as if a screen were there. Announcements, welcomes, celebrations were made, and confetti would fly, balloons would be launched, and trumpets would sound with music and angels singing. We made a point of showing them how much nicer it was than the Disney castle in Magic Kingdom. In this area were rides and experiences, much like Disney, where you could wait in line for an attraction, ride a ride, meet a special person, or do something cool. It seemed it was these people's first trip, so our goal was not to show them every experience, but a small sampling of a wide variety of experiences, and then they could come back and know the ropes and enjoy it on their own, loosed to go at their own pace and roam the vast places as they wished once they knew how. There were very specific rules to this process, though. I cannot recall each of the rules, but I do remember we stopped a young child in the group from breaking them quite often. Nothing rude, selfish, prideful, etc. would be allowed. Nothing like attending a theme park here where everyone cares about being first or getting the best seat or cutting in line. My number 3 was a specialist for customizing a person's experience. And I have been shown that one of her special gifts is that she gets to learn more about humans than anyone else in heaven, and she will be a specialist on humans. But in this particular dream, she was a specialist for customizing a person's experience at this event. It was like one of her heavenly jobs to help people get oriented, but also to maximize their enjoyment, reduce wait times, etc. So she had to study up on each person before they even arrived. For instance, if a person loved cats, or Mickey, or Abraham, or whatever, she would customize their experience so that they could have special food that looked like a cat, or the food that Abraham actually ate, or things like this. I recall there were even custom ice cubes that resembled what each person liked. It was an especially custom experience. She also gave tips, and she had a cool modern looking device that looked a little like a cell phone in shape and size. and she would tap a few things, and poof, unique stuff would arrive in a certain time slot that she chose for them to experience. For instance, if someone wanted to meet a person from the past, she could schedule it as event 1, 2, or 3, and on that time period, the person would just appear right before the guest who was looking forward to meeting them. This was not limited to historical or biblical characters. It could be innocent characters from Earth, from books, innocent media, etc. But the events were not limited to meetings. It could be a dining experience or a game to play or an experience in the park. Their time slot to get on a ride so that no time would be wasted waiting in line if they did not want to wait. The families we were guiding arrived. The cousins were very excited. The families were happy, and none of them were in any sort of bad mood. They were slightly apprehensive, for they did not want to offend. And everything was new. They did not want to make a mistake. It seemed that the longer a person was in heaven, the more the culture was understood. But it was such a stark contrast from earth that there was a knowledge that everyone was very holy and there was zero tolerance for any unrighteousness. It was an immutable law, do not offend, which means do not offend the laws of heaven. We got the families acclimated and had them try several rides and experiences. Smiles of joy were pasted across their face. They never had any idea that anything could be this fun. At one point in the day, it was the time slot for a meal or a snack, and we arrived at some cute outdoor cafe. The kids were giggling at their lunch because they happened to be Disney character fans, and all of their food was super cute, very artistic, tasty, but every element incorporated their favorite characters. There were little tan goldfish type crackers that were shaped like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Pluto. They giggled as they ate the crackers. The mothers were talking, and the dads didn't really seem to be that engaged. The "this is boring" face came over them. But they did not want to say anything negative, for they did not want to offend. Jim stepped up and said, "Hey, you guys should see this. When your family is happily settled and having a good time, but you're not really loving the activity, you need to step over to these walls and see what choices you have." The walls were slanted and they came out sort of like a V away from the building. These walls were made of what appeared to be solid rock, and they were about 8 inches thick and about 36 inches wide. From the table area, it kind of looked like a design choice, but if you stood directly in front of the flat rock part, it would activate an experience that was hidden within. He explained that without leaving them, the family, they could take part in other fun activities mere steps away and still stay engaged in the conversation if they wished. He showed them games and sports and experiences that they could choose from. Some you played like a video game on a screen that would appear. Some, like a rectangular opening, would appear, and an experience through the opening could be taken part of, like a target shooting range with heavenly arrows. Others, you could just step inside and engage in an experience like race car driving or riding a horse. Some just had trivia or games to keep a person's mind sharp. Others were very vast experiences with others playing, like playing a round of golf or surfing or mountain climbing. The interesting thing is that the person could be fully immersed in the experience, and it was 100% realistic. But then if the child or mother called them or said something to them, then the experience would pause, and the person could either respond to the question or step out of the experience and re-engage with the family. They could have what they felt was fun and still not miss a beat with the family. After lunch, we moved on to give them their pre-scheduled rides. As the afternoon wore on, it was a very busy part of the day and the kids were getting tired, and we took the families to meet the farmer. This was a pristine farm, very near the castle area. He grew food. On the farm, there were dirt roads with no dust and the cleanest animal pens ever conceivable, very posh. The barns were a mix of natural, warm, brown, stained wood and white wood. Guests could explore many animals, but because it was early in their learning process, we took them straight to meet the farmer. He was kind and calm, and he was surrounded by chickens. Most of the chickens were white, but there were other colors and varieties too. When we got there, I pointed out to the families 2 specific chickens. They had special places to be. They were right in front. One chicken had a special vest So I told the famous story of the chicken. She had been badly hurt. One wing was missing many feathers, and some were twisted, and she could not even flap one wing because her injuries were so vast. So for many days, the king farmer preened her feathers and put ointment on her bare skin. He held her day after day, and he made a special vest. The vest helped prop up her wing in a special way so it would heal properly, and it did. She still wears the vest as more of a statement piece or a remembrance. It is a mark that the farmer healed her and found her special. The other chicken was known in all parts as being especially kind, and this was promoted in all parts as her being a very special chicken. It was a large honor to meet these two chickens. Then we stepped forward past many chickens to meet the farmer, and he looked kindly at the new guests and welcomed them genuinely to his farm. In the next scene, we all returned to the classic theme park part of the kingdom area where the rides were, and then back to the hotel. The hotel was also very special. The tiles on the walls could be customized to reflect one's personal preferences. Number 3 was showing them how to choose various images and where to pick up the giant-sized stickers that could be replaced in the room on the walls while staying. The cousins went to the catalog of choices and began cheerfully giggling and plotting how funny it would be to have Winnie the Pooh for one of the dads as a surprise. They secretly decided to put Winnie the Pooh to arrive on the tiles in the shower. They were snickering at their plan. They knew he would love it. The families all had to take a shower or a bath because the following day was a big day. After this bath, they all wore white clothing. Their clothes were not at all alike, but they were all white, no color anywhere. One dad had a white polo shirt. The other had a white button-down dress shirt. The girls and sisters all had unique, pretty dresses. The sisters realized they needed to shop for something. The men and children were still under our care. The older boy, who was about 8 or 10, whose name was Evan, he was the one to most often offend at the parks. And we had to point out the rules are different. He asked if he could watch a movie while the mothers shopped, but I knew that the movie had bad language. I tried to explain that this was not appropriate here and that this was seen as offensive. The men were discussing the golf game they had in the virtual experience, and the kids were trying to decide if they were going to play games or watch TV while they waited. The younger brother, Andrew, he was small like a 3-year-old, and I said, "We need to take you back to the other room because you are so young. You need some rest. You have a big day tomorrow." The boys were in the hallway of the hotel waiting for me, and they began to tussle in fun and joy, but they both bumped their heads accidentally, and they got those really puffy, bloody, swollen circles on their forehead, and some of the blood was leaking onto their white shirts. And they both said, "Oh no, will this offend?" And I said, "Well, the blood of Jesus on your pure white garments is a bonus here. You will not offend, but instead be cared for." So a few interpretive notes. It's pretty much simple and straightforward, but the castle is the king's castle. Entertainment is all custom, personalized, and it all keeps the family together cohesively without anyone being bored. Evan means rock. Andrew means strong. The farmer was Jesus, and the chickens are angels. The vest is the tender love that repairs the broken. The reason that the blood coming from the bumped heads was considered to be Jesus' blood is because these people in heaven are kin to Jesus. They are the same family. And as a note, if you haven't figured this one out yet, baths and showers are always a sign of the sanctification process, like baptism. And there is a heavenly baptism that will occur after you get there before you go to see God. So I hope that's encouraging to you. I know some of it's hyper specific to me, but glean what you can, and see you next time.